Well, hello there. If you don't mind me, I'm just reading my notes on school vouchers and costs of schools and stuff like that. Did you know another word for a school voucher is an education voucher? Bet you didn't know that, did you? And what it is, this is very important, you might want to write this down in your notes. A school voucher is government funding for those who are of, you could say, low income families who want to receive a little bit better education than a public school. So the government funds for them to go to like a private school, and that's pretty much the gist of it. We're going to go ahead and go a little bit more into the costs behind all that and the effects of school vouchers. You know, in the year 2011 and through 2012, the price for a private school was $10,740 per child. Catholic schools were $6,890 per child. Religious-based schools, $8,690. And non-sectarian schools, which is pretty much like public schools, was $21,510. Now, I don't know about you, but if I had that much money, I don't think I'd go to school. Before we talk about the pros and the cons of school vouchers and school funding, I think it's important that we understand the difference between private and public schooling. Basically, there are three main differences between them. In public schooling, teachers need to be certified in order to teach. But in private schools, the teachers do not need to be certified. Also, another big difference, the class sizes for a public school range between 25 to 30 students per class. Whereas a private school, the most students are about 15 to 16 students in each class. And then the last reason, but the most important reason, or the biggest difference, I guess I should say, is funding. Public schools do their funding differently than private schools do, and that's one of the main differences between the two. Alright, now on to the pros and cons. Okay, so first of all, one of the pros is school vouchers allows parents the right to choose the right school for their kid. So whether it be private or public, because the school vouchers allow them to afford it. The second reason is they give an opportunity for students from a low-income family to receive a better education, because usually it's the rich kids who go to private schools and get that better education. So with school vouchers, even people like me can make their way up to the top as far as education goes. And then the third and final reason is, well, people say that school vouchers are they're making the public schooling look bad, or they're ruining the public schooling. And however, I don't think that is very accurate, because the school vouchers don't necessarily affect the quality of the public schools. So that is why that is an invalid statement, I think. Alright, now on to the cons. Now, this is very important to know, because if you only know the pros, then you'll be biased, you'll be one-sided. Okay, I feel like that is a huge problem that leads to ignorance. And ignorance is also a big problem. Alright. Okay, first con, violation of separation of the church and state. So basically what that's saying is the majority of private schools are religious based. So that being said, well, for example, the Milwaukee voucher program, it says here, 80% of the approved private schools were religious based. So with school vouchers, it's kind of like people are joining not based off of religion, they're just joining because they can afford it and they just want the education. Then second one, you got some people say it just doesn't work. So like it says right here, the existence of voucher programs is that they allow students to get a higher education than they could have in a public school. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what that means. It made a lot more sense when I wrote it down. Okay, the last one. Well, people are saying that it's failing the public school system. It's not doing it justice. Despite how successful they are, or they could be, it's said that they're just a short-term solution. So it's like you're taking money out of public schools to let a few lucky kids get a higher education. So it's pretty much, overall it's harmful to public schooling. So that pretty much sums up the pros and the cons about school vouchers.
You know, somebody once told me, he said, he who sleeps on the floor does not fall off the bed. And while that is a good point, you have to look at it from a different perspective. For example, what if your mattress is already on the floor? Then if you fall off, you're already on the floor, so you're not falling onto the floor. But I guess you are, in the sense that you're falling on the floor. But my point is, like we talked about,